Welcome back, mythology lovers. Today we're talking about one of the most fascinating, powerful, and fierce goddesses in Greek mythology, Artemis. Goddess of the hunt, protector of the wilderness, guardian of young women, and champion of chastity, Artemis is truly one of a kind. From hunting wild game to dishing out justice on anyone who disrespects her, Artemis is a goddess you don't want to mess with. So grab your bows and arrows, and let's dive into the epic life of Artemis and all her thrilling myths. Let's start with the basics. Artemis is the daughter of Zeus, king of the gods, and Leto, a titaness. She's also the twin sister of Apollo, the god of the sun. While Apollo takes the spotlight in broad daylight, Artemis rules the night, often associated with the moon. She's also known as the goddess of the hunt, the wilderness, and protector of young women and childbirth. Talk about multitasking, but Artemis isn't just about moonlit walks and hunting. She's one of the most independent and untouchable goddesses in all of mythology. She vowed to remain a virgin forever, rejecting marriage and the control of men. Her wild, untamed nature symbolizes freedom and independence, and she expects the same from her followers. Let's rewind to her birth. Artemis's story begins even before she was born. Her mother, Leto, had a hard time finding a place to give birth because the jealous goddess Hera, Zeus's wife, was hunting her down. After wandering for days, Leto finally found refuge on the floating island of Delos. Artemis was born first, and legend has it, she immediately helped her mother give birth to her twin brother Apollo. That's right, Artemis, a newborn, helped deliver her brother. Talk about a strong start. This early act of assisting in childbirth is why Artemis is also seen as the protector of women in labor, even though she herself is a virgin goddess. From the very beginning, she's been a force to be reckoned with. As the goddess of the hunt, Artemis is always depicted with her signature silver bow and arrows, often accompanied by a pack of loyal hunting dogs. She roams the wilderness, protecting animals and punishing anyone who dares harm them without respect. Now, Artemis is a protector of wildlife, but she's also a fierce hunter herself. Her dual nature shows how the Greeks viewed the wilderness, both as something to be respected and something to be conquered. But you better tread lightly in her forests, because if you disrespect her rules, things can get messy, really quickly. One of the most famous myths involving Artemis is the tragic story of Actaeon, a hunter who learned the hard way that spying on a goddess isn't a good idea. One day, while hunting, Actaeon accidentally stumbled upon Artemis while she was bathing. Big mistake. Artemis, who valued her privacy and chastity above all, wasn't having it. In a fit of rage, she turned Actaeon into a stag. And what happens next? His own hunting dogs, not recognizing him in his new form, tore him apart. Yikes. Artemis doesn't forgive easily. Next up is the myth of Niobe, a queen who made the mistake of comparing herself to Artemis's mother, Leto. Niobe had 14 children, 7 sons and 7 daughters, and arrogantly boasted that she was superior to Leto, who only had 2. Bad move. In response, Artemis and Apollo teamed up for some godly vengeance. Apollo took care of the sons, while Artemis shot down all the daughters with her arrows. Niobe was left devastated, turning to stone in her grief. The message was clear: don't disrespect the family of the gods. Another tragic myth involving Artemis is the story of Callisto, one of her loyal nymphs. Callisto had taken a vow of chastity to follow Artemis, but things took a turn when Zeus, king of the gods, noticed her beauty. Disguising himself as Artemis, Zeus tricked Callisto, and she became pregnant. Artemis, enraged by this betrayal, banished Callisto from her group. Later, Hera, Zeus's wife, transformed Callisto into a bear. And as if things couldn't get worse, Callisto's son, Arcas, almost killed her while hunting. Thankfully, Zeus intervened, placing both mother and son in the sky as the constellations Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Now let's talk about Orion, the giant hunter who shared a unique bond with Artemis. The two were inseparable hunting companions, and some myths even suggest that Artemis may have developed feelings for Orion, which is rare for this fiercely independent goddess. But Apollo, ever the protective brother, wasn't too thrilled about this. So, when Orion was swimming in the ocean, Apollo tricked Artemis into shooting an arrow at what he claimed was a distant object. She hit her mark, and when the body washed ashore, she realized she had killed her beloved friend. Heartbroken, Artemis placed Orion in the sky as a constellation, where he remains today. Despite her reputation as a fierce huntress, Artemis also had a nurturing side, especially when it came to protecting women and children. As the goddess of childbirth, she was often invoked by women in labor. While she never had children of her own, Artemis cared deeply for young girls, guiding them through their transition into adulthood. She was also the protector of young women, ensuring their safety and purity before marriage. In ancient Greece, many rites of passage for girls were held in her honor, including festivals where they dressed as bears to celebrate their transition to womanhood. Artemis wasn't just a myth. She was worshipped across the ancient world. One of her most famous temples, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, was considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. People traveled from far and wide to honor her with festivals, offerings, and prayers. Her legacy as a powerful, independent goddess has endured for centuries, and even today, Artemis remains a symbol of strength, protection, and the wild, untamable spirit of nature. So, what do you think? Artemis is definitely one of the most complex and fascinating figures in Greek mythology, from her fierce protection of her followers to her tragic myths of love and loss. If you enjoyed this journey through her myths, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more epic mythology stories. Until next time, keep exploring and watch out for those silver arrows.